for having me on this event and a great opportunity to present and share my views on learning. With the arrival of Web3, there has been a plethora of opportunities and options for us to learn and grow. And at this junction, I want to come in and share my thoughts around learning so that we all can understand that learning is the only key element that keeps us going and achieving the growth that we are looking for. Hence, today I'm going to talk about a universal tool that's called as the S curve or the sigmoid curve, which is the key to sustaining the momentum you are looking for. Well, who am I? You might be wondering. So let me introduce myself for a bit. I am Ravi Verma. I work for a company called Dhruva Data Solutions. I am the technical support director and I manage the global support for the data center and cloud native workloads. I have over 16 years of experience in data protection and cyber resiliency. At the same time, I also run a community named Focus Hive for leadership, and I'm a lead auditor for business continuity management systems, ISO 22301 from IRCA. Having said that, I also want to make sure that you all know me as a lifelong learner. I love to read and write, and I love to share my thoughts because I believe in continuous learning. With that, I want to take you all in a journey, and I would present to you a tool called as S-Curve and give you the options that you want to take to continue to grow. Now that you know me, I'm going to introduce an amazing quote by Sir Henry Ford. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. Show me someone who doesn't want to stay young. Probably that's the reason why I continue to learn, because I want to remain young. And I'm very sure about everyone else at this conference. Having said that, let's move to the next chapter of this discussion, where I want to kind of share something about the current era, the era that we are in, the society that we are living in, and the way the business is happening. Something has changed that. If you remember, 2 to 3 years back, we were still evolving. When I say evolving, we were in evolution of cloud, we were in an evolution of digitization, we were in an evolution of how technology worked and how businesses were using technology. But then something happened and it devastated the whole world. I don't even want to take the name, but I want to make a point here that after COVID, we are in a revolution in the way business is being done. Now, if I just have to take you back to the basic definition of evolution and revolution, evolution is a process of adaptation over a period of time. And in general, it is a slow process. But revolution is a sudden and a complete change of something that you want to do. And that's exactly what has happened post-COVID. If you look at how businesses are done, how many new businesses have come up, look at how education has transformed itself and how food delivery system has changed. I owe all these changes to COVID because we were stuck in the confinement of our houses and we needed these services to be delivered to us. And that is why I call post-COVID as a period of revolution. And in this revolution, something happened, which is technology changed drastically. So drastically that there are bodies which are out of business just because they could not cope up with the drastic change in technology. Hence, it's very important for us to keep these two keywords in our mind, evolution and revolution. Because in our own lives, we evolve as a child, we are evolving into something that we want to become. We are studying, we are learning, we evolve reading a certain subject, and we reach to a mastery level. While you keep evolution and revolution in your mind, I want to take you down your memory lane. Remember our childhoods. And and I believe 99% of people over here know how to ride a bicycle. And as a child, when we were learning bicycle, just close your eyes and visualize how the situation was, what we were experiencing when we were trying to learn how to ride bicycle. We would fall down, we would get up, we would have our elbows bruised, we'll have our knees bruised, but we will still go at it every day. We'll torture our parents to take us for cycling, and we would still try and learn. We wouldn't even know how to climb on the cycle, but we'd still try and try and try. And one day we'd be able to ride it. There would be a time, there was a time when we would find reasons to just go out of the house and take our bicycles and go out for a ride. But as we reached our adolescence, the late teen era of our life, we stopped looking at our bicycle. We didn't really want to ride that. And all we were focused on was that vroom, 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 the motorcycle that would just pass us while we would reach our schools and colleges. We would see some cool dude going on in a Honda or a Yamaha, and we would be like, wow, I need to have that. Now, what if you were self-content and you were like, nah, I'm good at riding my bicycle. I'm very happy with it. I am so satisfied. I don't need it. What would have happened? You would have never got a chance to ride a Yamaha or a Honda or per se a Royal Enfield, the famous bike that we Indians love. We would have never got a chance if we were not curious and excited about that. If we were not, we would never, but we were. And I was. I wanted to take that risk. I wanted to sit on the I wanted to sit on that motorcycle, and that's when I became a rider. And I'm sure many of you did. But what does it really show us? It really shows that there was a journey that we took to learn the bicycle. But at a certain point, when we were so good at learning the bicycle and we started learning the motorcycle, we would still again fall, bruise our knees, bruise our elbows, maybe sometime break our jaws, but we still went at it. However, the key point is that the overall journey that we took to learn how to ride a bicycle was reset, and we had to take the journey again to learn how to ride the motorcycle this time, and so on and forth. That's the key element that I want to bring forth from the memory of our childhood. And that is where I want to introduce the S curve of learning. Basically, a graph which is plotted against time and growth. Time on your x-axis and growth on your y-axis. If you look at your learning journey, if you look at the journey that you took for while you were learning how to ride your bicycle, or while you were learning how to ride a motorcycle, or anything that you were trying to learn. Maybe you were trying to learn how to play chess. Even at that, this journey is true, because what happens is at the bottom, at the intersection where your x and y axis is meeting, that's your starting point. That's a phase where you're going at it every day. But as time passes, you end up increasing your growth in the subject. You start learning. Now you know how to pedal. Now you know how to balance your bicycle. And as you go, as the time goes, and as you're going at it every day, your competency is increasing. Now, if you look at a phase over here, let me just draw. Now, Let me draw. If you look at a phase over here, you're basically at a trajectory which is very steep, very steep. You're learning at a very fast rate. You're not taking too much time and changing your position. You're very fast here. And if you look at a trajectory over here, again, the time taken is less versus the growth that you're achieving. This is called a phase of scaling. This is your hyper growth. Now, this is the place where you know what you're trying to do. You've got the knowledge of the subject and you're enjoying it. And if you look at the phase over here, you would see that you're kind of maturing in your learning phase, which means you now know it end to end. You've reached a level of mastery, but that's where you're kind of flattening, right? This is where you're kind of flattening because now there's no scope of learning because you've learned it all. You know how to ride a bicycle, you know how to skid your bicycle, you know how to do a wheelie on your bicycle. That's it. That's it. That's about it. That's all you can do on a bicycle. Now, what after this? Either you stay as is, but as you all know, the universal truth, change is the only constant, and nothing can be always in a straight line. It will by default go down. There will be a certain point where your growth will decline, and that is why you need to start thinking about reinventing yourself. So at this phase, if I have to ask you, at this phase, you have basically three choices: whether you decline, you remain as is, which eventually it will decline, or you grow. Now, if I have to take you through the journey, this is where you're starting. This is your starting phase where you're putting effort, going at it day by day and learning. And slowly and gradually, you're beginning to enjoy it, and you're beginning to become someone who knows the subject. This is the phase where you are scaling. You know the subject, you're going at it, you're learning it, and you're enjoying the learning phase, and your growth is hyper scaling. This is the phase where you've matured and you now know the subject end to end. But what next? That is where you have these three choices: whether you want to be as is or you want to evolve out of it, right? And if you ask me, that's the only choice you have, to evolve out. There's no choice that we could ever think of. Not there's only you could think of. You could think that you have three choices. You could think of you have three choices. Either you let things go down, or you maintain as is, or you scale. In my mind, you don't have so many choices. In my mind, you have only one choice. Nobody would want to decline. Nobody would want to remain as is. The only choice for you is to go up, is to scale again. That's the only choice. And what you got to do is to reinvent yourself. That is why this phase is called evolution. This is where you're evolving in a particular subject, in a particular uh, area, in a particular module. But this is when you have reached maturity. This is where you're bringing about a revolution in yourself. This is revolution, which is when you go up. This is how you go up. And that's how you sustain your growth. Otherwise, if you don't want to sustain your growth, you would basically fall down. The only way to sustain your growth is to ride the S curve. The only way to sustain your growth is to ride the S curve again and again and again. There's no other way. That is why I say the only choice, that is why I say after you are done, you've reached mastery, choice is yours. You want to grow again, you want to continue to grow, or you want to decline. And hence I say, remember, change is the only constant, and the rate at which the technology is changing, no one will remain a specialist. If you don't choose to ride the S-curve, you're going to be obsolete. The choice is yours. You want to stay as is, or you want to bring a revolution within yourself. With that, I'm going to leave you with a thought. When you realize things are getting tough, remember you're evolving. See you.